This patient was referred to me for endodontic treatment of tooth number 29. We talked about this case a couple of times before, but today is treatment day and I need to start over introducing the patient. Anyways, patient was referred to me for endodontic treatment of tooth number 29. There's a porcelain crown on the tooth. You can see a periorbital lucency associated with the tooth. Tooth was tender to percussion and palpation, probings 2 to 3 millimeters all around. And so we discussed options with the patient. Patient wanted to try to save the tooth. Patient has dental phobia, so we had to sedate her. I asked the patient about tooth number 30 because I can see decay here into the pulp. And patient said, oh, my dentist wants to extract this tooth. And that's why I kind of jumped out of my chair in my head and said, why? And he said, my dentist said, can't save the tooth. And I'm looking at this tooth. Of course, I can see decay here, but we treat and save teeth with worse decay than this, more substantial decay than this. This is really not much. Anyways, I told the patient, I said, my opinion, this tooth can be saved. And the patient said, oh my goodness, I'm glad you say that because I was so hesitant to extract this tooth. He said he had to extract tooth number 31 and this was his only chewing tooth, and he was kind of not happy knowing that he had to extract the tooth. So I said, I believe that the tooth can be saved. And the patient said, okay. So today we sedated him and did both root canals, of course, in one appointment. Porcelain crown. So I first did tooth number 30 and then I went to 29. Tooth number 30 went through the porcelain crown, distal lingual decay, cleaned it all out, rebuilt the missing walls. I used composite here and did the root canal, 4 canal systems here. I finished that, temporized it, went to number 29, 1 canal on tooth number 29. These were 23 millimeter long canals. This was 21.2 millimeter canal. So then did this and temporized it, and patient did really well with IV sedation also. Take a look. And here's the post-op for both teeth. As you can see, everything went beautifully. Look at the curvature of these canals. Look at that beautiful lateral we got there. Tooth number 29, tooth number 30, 2 mesials here, anastomosis between the mesial canals, 2 distal canals that join and then separate again. You can see they separate here. Beautiful lateral here. You can see the lateral better in here. You see that right there. The distals, separate orifices, and then they join and then they separate again. And people ask me, how do you know this? I use scouting files. I use C files like these. Scouting files, I use them like this between my fingers. I watch wind them and I can feel the canals as the file moves through the canal. I can kind of visualize and I can feel it as I go down one canal, and then I can feel it as I'm pulling the file out, and then I can feel it dropping into another canal. So, but as you can see, everything went beautifully here. These patients started to wake up, so it started to move a little bit. That's why the x-rays are kind of blurry. You can see the composite here as we built up the walls there, but here it is. Everything went great, as you can see, and we went ahead and temporized both teeth, and patient now is going to his dentist to have both teeth restored permanently. Excellent. And the other thing I wanted to kind of quickly mention is that don't be so occupied with all the stuff that you see on the internet, like I had a follower messaging me telling me that, oh, I have this dentist, and he uses a laser device to activate the hypo. And you should see his cases. He was telling me you should see all the laterals that he gets, all the laterals and everything that he gets. Brother, sister, how much do you think that laser system has cost this dentist? Probably thousands of dollars. Those laser units, they're not cheap. I think $40,000-$50,000 per unit. And then the tip is made out of glass. I've worked with those before. The tip, you look at the tip the wrong way and it breaks. And now it's like the tip, each tip is like $200, $300, $400, something like that. All right. So how do you explain my laterals? I don't use laser. I don't use gentle wave or any other, those expensive devices. And on a consistent basis, I get all these laterals and anastomosis and all that. So how do I clean all of that? You don't need fancy, expensive equipment to do good, solid endodontics. You really don't. So stop occupying your mind so much, thinking that if you buy this piece of expensive equipment, now suddenly your endos will come out all like Christmas trees, all kinds of laterals and anastomosis and complexities and portals of exit. Brother, sister, it doesn't work like that. You don't need fancy, expensive equipment to do good, solid endodontics. Focus on irrigation and activation. I've shown you how I do my root canals from start to finish. I've shown you how to make your own endo activator for $9.99. $10. You make your own endo activator, sonic activator. You don't need these 50,000, 60,000, 100,000 equipment and devices. You don't need that stuff. You really don't need that stuff. Don't occupy your mind so much thinking that stuff will change your game. It will not. If you do lousy endo, you'll continue to do lousy endo no matter what kind of equipment and device you buy, how expensive that equipment and device is. Focus on the fundamentals. Rubber dam, copious and constant irrigation with 6% sodium hypochlorite, activation, good solid working length determination, instrumentation and shaping to working lengths, and then you can focus on good solid obturation. The sealer brand and material doesn't matter. The sealer, I promise you, I get that all the time. People think that I get all these laterals because I have a special sealer that I use. I use AH+. Before we used Grossman sealer, which is zinc oxide eugenol based. Before that, after that, I started using Kerr. You don't need fancy sealers like BC Sealer, one syringe for like $300 or whatever. You don't need that stuff. You just think, some of you think that the more you spend on your devices and equipment and materials, the better your endo gets. It's not that, brother. You need to constantly focus on your adhering to the fundamentals of endodontics. You don't use a rubber dam. I have to convince some of you to you say, oh, I've done years of root canals and without a rubber dam, and I haven't had any failures. Brother, sister, those failures, those patients don't come back to you when the root canals fail. 50% of my business practice is redoing root canals. Where are those patients coming from? Whose patients are they with all those failed root canals? They don't come to you. They probably go to another dentist or they go to an endodontist. They don't come back to you. So that's why you think your endos are all successful, because you don't hear back from your patients. No, that's not the case. They go somewhere else. Focus on the fundamentals.